Welcome to Of Sound Mind and Spirit. I'm Shelly.
And I'm Lisa. We're sisters walking together on a journey of faith. We're not perfect.
We definitely don't have all the answers.
We're inviting you to walk with us as we explore ways we can better know and grow in our faith together.
Thank you for joining us on another episode from Of Sound Mind and Spirit. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Shelly.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'll be very happy when the temperatures here drop below 100 and we can welcome some of that fall weather.
I think you got about another month. Sorry.
Well, bummer. So for those of you joining us, I know we're recording, it's only mid-August, but where we are, school started last week. And this week, our college kiddos are on their way back to campus. Woohoo!
Yeah, that's right. We start early here and it's still really, really hot and almost have a quiet house during the day.
Well, I know before we got on, we were saying we kind of had some mixed feelings about the kids going back to school. So I'm curious, I'll ask you, how did you do with the first day of school?
Well, since I only have one left here at the house in school and it's her senior year. And, I remember times when I was excited when school started and I couldn't wait to do all the things. And then I've had years where it was like a big party. I just wanted to hang out with all my friends and celebrate. There are a couple of years I just laid on the couch. This year was kind of like a mix. We've had a very busy summer and I have one college kid gone, one about to go, and high schooler gone. So it was a mix.
You're still trying to figure out what to do in the day, aren't you?
I'm trying to recover from all of our travel and jumping back into school, and I felt like I just needed a deep breath. Right.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm happy that our youngest is off to school. I'm very glad of that because it'll allow me to settle into a new routine and have mixed feelings about my middle daughter going back to college. It's her senior year, just like your oldest in college. It's her senior year. And I have mixed feelings there because I had plans for us over the summer that we didn't really fully meet. It's weird because you get all these ideas of things you want to do in the summer and the vacations and you get a little off schedule though. You know what I mean?
No, I have no idea. What are we talking about today? What's the topic? Oh, wait.
We lose our routine and we kind of, I don't know about you, I think the vacations kind of kept us from setting a real new routine and really getting into the schedule of it.
I think that's the wonderful and the bad of summer is that you have no routine because even if you set one, it changes every couple of weeks.
Yes.
Whether you
absolutely.
have little ones, big ones, or young adults. Now, if you're empty nesting completely, I'm not there yet. And I can't wait to hear about that. So
She's only got a year. So
but
give her
then
some ideas.
I still have college students who come home in the summer. So even if you're empty nesting during the school year and then suddenly they come back home during the summer, whew.
That's a disruption all its own.
It is a disruption, a welcome one. I mean, you want to spend time with them and, kind of soak it all up.
How do you soak it all up when they're up in their rooms just hanging out?
You make food.
Oh, great idea.
Or you tell them you're taking them out for dinner. That usually works to get them to come down eventually.
Yeah.
But that's what we're going to talk about is back to school. Whether you have active kids at home or not, this back to school time of the year is a great time to create new schedules, build new habits, kind of a reset for moving forward.
Right. Oh, I am so looking forward to getting back on a schedule. and I know it's not easy. It can be hard to create and maintain a routine, but we're going to talk a little bit today about some directions. Remember, we don't have all the answers, but we're gonna talk a little bit about what we can do.
Yeah. And I know the normal time for setting a new schedule or goals or all those things, we think New Year's Day, like New Year's resolutions. But there's a couple of reasons why I like, we'll talk at September 1, we'll just say September better, is because for me, for the last however many years, September is a natural new start because the kids are going back to school. So you just feel like you have a new calendar to create because you've got all the school stuff. So it just feels more natural. Also, September is not in the middle of holiday season. Coming
It's
off
on
of
the
Christmas.
leading edge.
Yeah, exactly. You feel like you're getting ahead of the holidays in this way.
You've got to get ahead of it because I think someone said that there are fewer than 20 Saturdays left before Christmas, and I just cringed.
Oh, don't even tell me that.
Right? Right? Because once you get through September, then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're in Halloween, you're in Thanksgiving, you're in Christmas, New Year's, and then bam, somebody's saying, let's start resolutions for the new year. And you're like, I'm sorry, I'm still stuck in October.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then also New Year's resolutions, I feel like there's so much weight and I'll say baggage attached to that phrase that it creates a lot of pressure to get it done and to do all the things. And maybe that's just me, but it just feels like that whole new year, new you, all that stuff. So I like September. It feels like a nice, clean, fresh start as the kids are headed off to new school years.
Yes. Hey, Lisa, I'm going to make a small New Year's prediction, though.
Okay.
I predict, Lisa, that you will suggest to me that we do an episode in January about New Year's resolutions. I can almost guarantee it.
Oh, it's already on my list.
See, I knew you were what, right, sister?
I know. I love a fresh start. Redemption stories.
So if you don't agree with us about now, just hold on.
Yeah.
Wait a few months. We'll be right back with one for you. Well, and Lisa, another thing I wanted to bring up is, there's kind of a difference between a schedule and a habit. And before we started, we kept talking, well, which one are we going to talk about? Well, if you want to create a new habit, then you have to start with some sort of a routine, keeping on with that schedule.
Mm-hmm. And I find I can have all the best intentions in the world, but unless I put it on my calendar or like say I'm going to do this on this certain day of the week or Tuesday afternoons or whatever, it's easier to just push it off and to not do it. Oh, I'll start it next week or I'll do it whenever. So when I
sit on your to-do list forever.
Yeah. So if I say, okay, this has a date and a time, and that way I don't plan something else on top of it. So yeah, right. I think you have to start with a schedule to create the routine to develop the habit.
Correct. Right. And remember when the kids were little bitty? I know it's a long time ago, but the doctors everyone gave you advice and would say, you have to get them on a schedule, feeding schedule, sleeping schedule, etc.
Yeah.
That doesn't really go away when they're older. I really think that we just do better when we have a regular routine to follow. And like you said, when you do that routine regularly enough, it then becomes automatic, and that is your habit. You don't even have to think about it anymore. Something you wake up and you have to do it because you always do it. Like getting up and making the bed and going to brush your teeth every morning.
I have a confession.
Yeah, I was thinking you might.
I don't make my bed.
I cannot get over that.
But I do drink coffee every morning, so that is a habit.
And y'all, she's a little grouchy if she doesn't get her coffee first. So,
well, that's what I say. It's not just the kids that need a schedule. I do better on a schedule, going to bed at a certain time to get up at a certain time. Nothing is worse than, staying up. I am a night owl, but like staying up super late and then being like, oh, darn, did I actually have to get up at 6 a.m. the next morning? I wish I hadn't stayed up so late. It'd be better if I kept a schedule.
Or had just stayed up all night.
I am not a college student anymore. Can't do that. Sorry.
No, that's another midlife age thing, right?
Oh my gosh.
It hits you harder if you stay up too late.
Maybe we should do an episode all about why can't we sleep?
Okay, y'all, write that one down. That's a future episode to develop.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, okay. So going into a new school year, new routine, but how do you decide what those new routines and new habits look like?
Oh, if you're like me, it looks like all the things. You just make a list of everything you've ever wanted to do in life and you put it on a list.
Okay. Well,
Okay, maybe not.
here I've got a little tip for you then. So don't fall over. It's I'm not perfect. It's not the answer, but it is a tip. I think you have to start with the end in mind. You have to look ahead. Is there something you want or need to accomplish this year? And before you race ahead and put everything on the list, Lisa, um, you mentioned to me earlier, part of that means looking back at the past and seeing what's worked for you so that you can play to your strengths, so to speak.
Hmm. Or look backwards and say, what didn't work and how can I fix it or do it differently / better.
Mm-hmm. So I wrote an article that's on our website of soundmindandspirit.com. There's our plug. And I asked the same question like almost 10 years ago. I was going to make a new plan. But as I was looking back at it, and I'll put the link in the show notes, I noticed that I wrote about prayerfully discerning the answers to some questions. And these are really good questions that you can ask yourself anytime you're trying to start a new goal or put it in your schedule. Where am I right now? Where do I want to be? What is something that I want to do? What is something that I need to do? What can I control? What can I not control? And is there something that's keeping me from doing what I want? How do I remove that obstacle?
Those are some good questions.
Right? Because once you identify that, then you can begin to break it down into baby steps you can incorporate into your routine or your schedule.
Well, and I would say that when you're looking at these questions, you can answer them for even different like parts or segments of your life. So you can look at it from a family scheduling, like family unit. What would help my family life? Like, what am my role in the family? What would help me as an individual, like develop? And then you can also look at it from your faith life, spiritually. How am I working on, keeping God in the center of my life? And what are my best ways to do that?
Lisa, earlier this year, you had a really great article about setting spiritual goals.
I did. And it was tied into where we talked about New Year's resolutions, but making spiritual resolutions. And I think that a lot of that applies to this as well, because as you said, you have to kind of reflect on your past and your future and where you want to go. And in that post, I walked through how you can go about setting spiritual goals. And some of the sample goals that you might set were things like reading the Bible every day, starting a gratitude journal, spending time in adoration, or practicing the works of mercy, or maybe learning about saints. And that post walked you through how to, like you said, do reflection, and then some tips to set goals, and then doing some goal planning, and then praying and discerning over your selection, and then how to set good goals for moving forward.
Lisa, didn't you also develop a worksheet or some sort of a handout that gave some direction on that?
I did. There's a actually 7-page worksheet on how to set spiritual goals, which I think works a lot with this as well. And we can link to that in the show notes so people can go back and look at it.
Lisa, I really like that. The simple act of having a plan or goal can keep us going in our chosen direction while leaving enough flexibility for detours around obstacles.
That's a very good point. You have to be flexible and you have to know where you're going and expect that things are going to happen and detour around them.
Mm-hmm. Now, I liked what you said, though, earlier about making sure that we're keeping our eyes focused on God and that everything we do in life, whether it's with our family or for our personal development, we are still walking towards God and focusing on that. In my article, I had a quote from Ward Beecher. The strength of a man consists in finding the way God is going and going that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you have no idea who Ward Beecher is.
No, I do not. but I will look him up.
You might have heard of his famous sister, so that's the only hint I'll give you.
Okay. I will do some searching.
Well, I'm kind of going to turn it now and ask our listeners, we want to know, is there something you're going to do this September, this fall, to build a new habit for yourself or your family? Is there a particular habit that you want to develop or something that you want to work on in your life?
Well, honestly, I think that if we're going to ask them that question, we should be a little vulnerable and maybe share a few of ours. Are you willing to? I put you on the spot here. Are you willing to share a few that you are? I mean, I can go first if you want, but
you can go first. Sure. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay.
Lisa can go first.
I have a couple of things that I want to work on, and one would be regular exercise. In that, I used to go walking all the time, but I got out of the habit.
Now, when did we stop doing that?
It is really, really hot here. So,
oh yeah.
But to focus on not just exercise as fitness, but exercise as, peace, and my mind can kind of, I hate to say, expand in a way when I'm walking. It's very good for me and calming me and keeping me peaceful. I have a whole list, but I'll just give a couple.
Of course she has a list. Lisa always has a list.
I always have a list. Like we talked about the last episode, decluttering and kind of working on getting a handle on some of that. And I did share some photos on Instagram about the chaos of that big closet. So if y'all didn't see that, go check it out because it was pretty horrendous, in my opinion. But one of the things that is actually really on my list that I want to talk about is friends and reconnecting with people. I want to make a habit of spending time with people, not just, when I see them, but to make a concerted effort to go to lunch, maybe have a game night, or even if it's pick up the phone and talk to somebody I haven't talked to in a long time. I feel like, especially after the pandemic, we've kind of retreated again. Maybe I'll start sending letters. We talked about we have all those note cards in the closet.
Well, your book group is about to start in the end of the month. I mean, September, right? Aren't y'all coming back in the end of September?
We should be. Yeah. We haven't set our calendar yet, but we usually do.
No, I like your goals. I like the idea of incorporating that into your to-do list.
No, like actually put on my calendar.
Oh, so it's going to go from the list to the calendar.
It has to go on the calendar. If you want things to get done, you must schedule them. I really do believe that.
Now, I'll agree with that, especially when you're talking about reconnecting with friends, because what happens so often is you see each other in passing or you haven't seen each other in a while and your paths cross. And yes, I realize I just repeated myself, but your paths cross and you say, oh, we need to get together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we really need to do lunch. And then the next thing you know, 2 weeks have gone by and you didn't, and then you just forget. Yep. So if you're going to see each other and say, let's do lunch, you should really whip out your little iPhone or whatever. And
well, and I'll extend the invitation if you're listening and you want to have a virtual lunch and make a connection. I think that would be a lot of fun for the people that I haven't seen in a really long time to get to know each other again. All right, your turn. You're on the hot seat.
Oh, okay. I am in the middle of a big project with our mother, working on some of her genealogy and Italy stuff. So right now I need to get back into the routine of working on that at least a little bit every day or setting aside the bulk of a day each week so that I can focus on getting that finished. And then I would like to incorporate exercise. So okay. I kind of started a little bit. I'll confess this one. I was reading a book called Atomic Habits, and it said that when you're starting a new habit, it needs to be small, like it has to fit within 2 minutes or something like that. And it said to stack it with something else that you already do that's already a habit. So I said, well, I haven't done push-ups in a really long time. And I told myself, you know what? This is going to be silly. I'm going to wake up in the morning and every time I brush my teeth, because it is a habit, I do brush my teeth, that I'm going to do 5 push-ups. 5 is simple. 5 doesn't feel like a big problem. And so I did not get on the floor, Lisa. I know you're going to be like, you got on the floor in your bathroom. No, but I started with those leaning push-ups, where you lean up against the sink, and I did 5 push-ups, and it was hard. And that was 3 weeks ago, and I'm up to 20 push-ups.
You know, it would be a lot of fun.
No, you are not taking a video of me
Well,
brushing
you
my
could
teeth.
do it. Just put your phone up on the bathroom counter and be like, brushing teeth, push-ups. And then I think everybody would love to see that. I think that would be so much fun. We could make a reel. It'd be so much fun.
I will only do that if a listener asks for it.
Ooh. I'm going to start calling
I'm not
people.
doing it if you tell me to do it.
I'm going to start texting people right now.
We're not even done recording yet. Stop it.
I love that. I love the way you made it doable by pairing it with something that is already a habit that you do without thinking. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. I probably should. I do read every morning, spiritual reading, and so I probably should think about pairing something with that. Right now it's journaling and reading. So maybe drinking coffee.
When I drink the coffee, then I will X.
Right.
So pair it with something, and that works pretty well.
I like that.
But I can't do all the things. I mean, that's what's crazy.
There's 365 days in the year, so you could do a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you want to really build a habit, it's got to be intentional, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they can be really hard to start, and they're super easy to break.
I was going to say you can build a lot of habits unintentionally. They're just not necessarily good habits. Like maybe that's what we should talk about too, is like breaking some of those bad habits. So I was going to say picking up my phone. A lot of times you don't think about how many times you pick up your phone and mindlessly look at things, whether it's social or it's my youngest likes to play word games on her phone.
Mm-hmm. You have to put up an obstacle to that habit that you want to break. If you can put up some sort of an obstacle, like I was spending too much time on social media. So I took it off the front page of my screen and I moved it into a folder on the last page of my screen. So if I really want to go check Facebook, I've got to scroll, go into a folder and then tap it. And you'd be surprised how much I haven't been on social.
That's good. I mean, not good, but if it was distracting, then good. Yeah.
Right. Now I go intentionally now. And that's what I say. When you set a goal and you do one thing every day that advances the goal, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It's that you're forming an intentional habit of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you make a mistake, give yourself grace. I mean, we're not perfect. You're supposed to say we don't have all the answers.
Oh, we don't have. We do not have all the answers. I was looking at my list. Sorry.
And Lisa, I will remind you, don't try to do all the things. Would you just start with one thing and get it on your list? So
I know.
Reconnect with your friends this fall.
I know. I would have a dinner party. Wouldn't that be fun? Except for the fact that I don't like to cook. But I could do it.
You could cater it. There are worse things than bringing in pizza.
No, I can do it. I can do it. You're supposed to say yes.
I'm sorry.
Doesn't have to be perfect.
Let me be the sister. Yay, you can do it, Lisa.
Doesn't have to be perfect.
You're actually a much better cook now than you were when we were younger. So.
Oh, I appreciate that.
In high school.
Oh, you mean 30 some odd years later?
Yes. You've got 30 some odd years of practice.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, and I would add for creating these habits to really, really pray about it, because as we just said, I fall into the habit of wanting to do all of the things. And so a lot of times where I write my lists, and I do keep a running list on my phone of things I would like to do and do better or stop doing. But I do try to take the time to pray over the list and pray with it. And really, this is where the walking helps. Listen to what God is trying to tell me and guide me towards. You know, what's not only best for me right now, but what does my family need? Because that's where I am in life, is it's all about serving them. So just that's how I speak to myself when I'm trying to do too much, is take a deep breath and pray about it.
That's a really good reminder. I like that.
Thanks. And then I do have a scripture verse for us this week.
Yay.
It's Proverbs 16:3. It's entrust your works to the Lord and your plans will succeed.
Oh, I love that. I love that, Lisa. I think you should do a graphic and post that so we can print it off and like put it somewhere to remind us to keep our motivation going. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll put it on my bathroom mirror. So it'll remind me, brush your teeth, do your push-ups, and entrust your works to the Lord. Your plans will succeed. Woohoo.
You notice it doesn't say work harder and your plans will succeed. It says
entrust your
to
works
the
to
Lord.
the Lord.
Right. Always pray about it. All right. So now the question is, and dear listener, do you want to see a reel of Shelly brushing her teeth and doing push-ups? Sorry. Okay.
I'm going to cut that out just so you know.
We'll see. I have the original audio. I can always post it.
God bless America. Oh my goodness.
So, do you find September being a natural start, a natural time to hit reset and to plan new schedules, new habits, just kind of start over? And if you do, what's on your list? What are you seeking to habit to create this year? And then, Shell, I think, do you have some feedback for us?
Why, yes, we do, Lisa. I received a text from a dear friend who told me that she was listening to our podcast last week, episode 12 on decluttering. And we mentioned that book, Making Room for God, Decluttering in the Spiritual Life. She texted me that earlier that same day, she was on Facebook and Facebook Memories reminded her that she had gone to book club on that day and the author attended. And it was actually that very book. So then later in the day, she's listening to our podcast and she's like, wait, how weird is it that you mentioned the exact same book? I don't know if it's so much feedback as it is like a simpatico moment.
I like that. Wait a minute, Shell. She mentioned the decluttering in the book. Let's just do a little follow-up. How's that decluttering going for you?
Well, my college-age daughter left home yesterday to go back to school, and I spent the afternoon picking up everything she left behind. Does that count?
Pretty
I
much,
threw away
yeah.
a trash bag.
Well, I think that with school coming back into session, and again, my college kids leaving, I'm going to get a head start on my declutter for now also. As always, thank you for listening. We really, really appreciate it. Keep sending us the feedback. We've gotten a couple of new reviews on Apple Podcasts, so thank you. We'll read them next week. And as always, you can find us on all major podcast servers and visit our website, soundmindandspirit.com. And we'd love for you to scroll to the bottom of the page and subscribe to our emails so that we can keep in touch, besides listening to us pontificate week to week. All right, Shelly. Thanks so much.
All right, Lisa. Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye, everyone.
All right, bye.